Michael Farkas is the CEO and founder of Blink Charging, which has more than 51,000 charging stations across 25 countries. When you're watching what's happening with the stock today, Michael, do you just see it as a disconnect between the reality and hopes for the future and what investors are worried about?
Our business is a long-term business, so the day-to-day volatility on our stock price is not something that we really take notice. We're looking at the long term, and this business really is at its infancy. When you look at the total market of where we are and how many chargers that are deployed today and where we need to be in 2030 or 2040, there's nothing but growth for the entire industry.
We'll talk a little bit about numbers then. Like, how much do you want to grow in the medium term? What can investors in your company expect out of your growth?
It's exponential growth. If you look at the actual numbers today globally, and that's the market we participate in, there's roughly a few viable charging stations deployed. By 2040, you're looking at about 450 million to 500 million chargers. The growth is astronomical. We're going in a complete change over how we transport ourselves, how we move, and we're going from a gasoline environment, fossil fuel environment, to renewables and electricity.
What's the challenge for you in trying to get new charging stations up and running? Is it just money, or are there regulatory headaches? And I don't know, is the whole NIMBY feeling of people who are in these communities coming into play at all?
Not at all. Everybody wants to have charging stations. It depends on what kind of charging stations are needed in those specific locations. And that's one of the things that separates Blink from all others. We have a hardware as well as a deployment methodology that works for whether it's single family homes all the way to off highway routes. And everyone across the board is interested in having these charging stations deployed, where a couple of years ago and a few years ago it was a lot more difficult explaining to them exactly what they're going to be doing. In the past, people didn't have much faith in having electric mobility. Completely different world we're living in today. A majority of people, when looking at new cars, are looking at either plug-in hybrids or full battery electric vehicles. And the type of vehicles that are now being released are phenomenal. It's just really, it's the digitization of the automobile. And it's similar to what, we experienced as having an analog phone and having a digital phone. We're now seeing those technologies applied to, transportation and mobility.
I want to come back to the stock and its activity. We had a chart up there that shows, I think, the stock from the pre-pandemic to today. If we could bring that back up, it was very interesting, because we're looking at some of the charts that indicate down movements today, down movements for the month of like 18%. There you see from the pandemic, March 11, 2020, your stock is actually higher by 800%.
Yes.
We can focus on today and show that you're down 8%. We can focus on the week. So I guess my question, and so this stock chart suggests the growth you're talking about, the market recognizes, okay? Or they wouldn't have driven the price up 810% over that time. What is the moment, what is the amnesia that has set in with them that would cause them on a week where the president says, I want to have X thousand of these new charging stations deployed quickly? What is the amnesia that has set in with these investors this week, if you've got an idea?
Unfortunately, it's not based on reality. It's more based upon how people trade the stock. We have about 50 some odd million shares outstanding and almost 11 million shares short on our company. You're talking about artificial selling. It's not actual real owners of the company who say, hey, I don't want it because it's not a great investment. But you have artificial selling that's taking place. And I think once the market realizes that Blink's here to stay, we're not going away, then 11 million shares are going to start to be bought in. And we believe then will be fairly valued, because at this point in time, you're correct. There is amnesia in the marketplace. And especially if you compare us to our peers, whether it's ChargePoint or EVgo or others, we are very, very undervalued when you look at what technology we have, our team, the amount of locations that we have, our own and operate model, and how much money we could generate off those charging stations, owning them and dispensing the electricity versus selling the hardware. I think when people really get an understanding of what Blink does, I think things will change.
Michael, I want to ask you about the big cities, which is the place where, to me, electric vehicles make the most sense, not these long-haul drives, long commutes. I want to know what your idea is for people who have to park on city streets. You're not going to pay for the $900 for a garage in Manhattan to come into the city. What's your idea for how to equip our cities with electric charging stations?
That's a great question. It's not about us thinking about it. It's actually about what we've already done. You could go into cities in the U.S., Los Angeles being one of them, and see hundreds of charging stations of ours that are on the streets, deployed in the streets. And that's how we deploy charging stations elsewhere in the world. And we're expecting to do even more so here. Now, you got to understand, there are people who park on the streets, but they're also in these dense urban areas. People are accustomed to going into those garages and parking their cars. And that's where a substantial amount of cars are parked. And that's a huge market for us. And that's where we've been focusing. This month, we're starting our 14th year of doing business as a charging station company from day one. That's what we focused on, was dense urban areas. Because I do agree with you. Out in suburbia and rural areas, people are going to charge their cars at home. Public charging infrastructure, if you're on a long route, travel corridor, you may need it. But almost everyone's going to be charging at home. So less public charging is going to be necessary. It's the dense urban areas, those markets right outside those dense urban areas where people are parking on the streets, where they don't have cut curbs, they don't have parking facilities available for them. That's a market that Blink is already focused on. We have a solution for it, and we've already deployed charging stations in those types of locations.
Michael, it's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you for having me again.